Hello everyone, welcome to Thursday's live stream. I did not plan this, that it was going to be on Halloween, but happy Halloween for those of you who observe it. Hello Peg, welcome. Hi Cameron, I didn't know he would log on. I thought he was out on an adventure. So that's my hubby, Cameron. He's usually downstairs in the office, you guys, but it's his birthday coming up here this weekend on November 2nd. So he took a few days off of work, so he's out adventuring. And yeah, I'm really excited about today, and I look forward to going over everything where we're at and all of that. Hi Janelle, welcome. So glad that you made it here today. Well, I'm going to let a few of you guys roll on in while I just go over a few of the basics to get warmed up here. And kind of get people that have, you know, just new to the channel coming on in, and they can kind of understand what I'm actually doing. So my name is Dawn Vander Stoep. I'm a soft pastel artist. I do PanPastel. I have a focus on PanPastel, and I use pastel pencils, and I incorporate some sticks. But my main focus is PanPastel. I discovered it a little bit over 6 years ago. I was actually finding the exact date the other night. It's going to be 7 years in January. And I have just never looked back. I have a lot of backgrounds in mixed media, and I've tried multitudes of things, but this has actually held my attention span. Hello, Francine. You made it today. Hi, Loretta, Katie. Louise, Stacy's in the house for the throwdown. Karen's here. Paula, she's back from the East Coast. Yeah, thank you. I'll tell him that you guys said happy birthday to him. So yeah, it's nice that he took a few days off. But it's always nice to have him here during my lives too. So it was really sweet that he chimed in. We've been married for over 27 years. So yeah, he's just such a great support. Hi, Jennifer, welcome. So this PanPastel is a really highly pigmented pastel. It's soft pastel in an ultra fine form, kind of like a cake makeup pan. And PanPastel is the brand name. It is set up in different families. Each family has a core color, and you can mix those other parts of the families by adding white to make a tint, adding black to make a shade or an extra dark. Knowing that you're already ahead of the game like a ton. Like, I did not fully understand that because I bought it all separate. I didn't go take a class or anything, and there was nothing out there like this when I was online. So welcome, Peg. So glad that you're here. Well, I think you were one of the first people here. I just, for some reason, was thinking you just rolled in, but you came in. Hi, April, welcome. So I am working on a 600 grade UArt sanded pastel paper. I can't express this enough that your paper that you work on, it affects your whole experience. When I first started out, I didn't know this. I tried a lot of different papers, and the UArt is a sanded paper made specifically for pastel, and it comes in different grades. I use the 600 grade, that is the fineness of it. If you go down to a 400, it's rougher. And I use a 600 that will work with my soft tools. Soft tools have been specially designed for PanPastel. They're a high density foam, and they end up being your paintbrushes. And after many, many years, they feel like paintbrushes to me now. My favorite is the oval. Any of the supplies that I talk about today are listed down below with a special link. If you are interested in buying some supplies and live in the US and are interested in PanPastel or anything I talk about, I've teamed up with Merry Artists, and you get to save an additional 10% off by using coupon code DAWNVS. And they have some of the best prices for PanPastel, even better than some of the big box stores. So, and they're fast shipping and all of that. So that's always nice. Hello, Lynn, welcome. Oh, Jennifer, it was her birthday yesterday, and she gave herself the 20 core color set and was exciting to open, and only one pan was broken up, but that's easy to fix with alcohol. Oh, well, congratulations, Jennifer. Happy birthday to you. That's awesome. That's great. All right, we got quite a few of in here. I'm really happy that you guys joined me on Halloween. I didn't know how it was going to go. This month has been jam-packed with 5 weeks of live streaming this month. And if you're a Pastel Insider, you have gotten 5 behind the scenes videos and line arts and everything. So being a Pastel Insider, you get all the line art so you can follow along at your own pace. I load everything on Fridays, and then you get behind the scenes videos showing how I started it in the middle and the end. So I have worked on this a little bit on yesterday, and here is where we left off on Tuesday. So I love showing like befores and afters. And for any of you in the group here, a lot of you have been here, coming here since the beginning, because I'm on like 8 months of live streaming. I would love a reminder if I forget to show the before and after from today. So I'm going to show you where we're at, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. And then we're going to dive right in because we have a lot to do. So I would say the biggest thing I wanted to share with you is I soften the eyes. I go over all this in the middle videos, the behind the scenes, but softening the eyes are the things that came when I left, and I looked back and I was like, oh my gosh, the eyes are pretty dramatic. So you're going to see a big difference in the eyes. And then the hair, I ended up bringing up the hair because I felt like the forehead actually will be up here. And so I brought up the hair to help with that composition. I brought out the skin tones down here in the hands and everything and just got those going because we have a lot to do today. And I want to take you as far as I can so you can see as much as you can. So I really want you to look at, and I've also played with the nose because I always kind of have to fiddle with the nose because noses are my biggest challenge. So you're going to see here, I want you to look at the eyes and see how soft her eyes have been softened. And the biggest tip with the eyes is that, you know, just like makeup with eyeliner, you know, she had some heavy eyeliner on. And so taking that eye, the white in the eye and the white in the bottom of the eye here, you really level out and soften up the face. So I worked on the nose. I'll catch up with chat here in just a second, and then you can see the hair. And we still have all of this abstracting to play with. And you can see I worked on bringing up the skin tones in the hands. So I really was trying to keep some of this abstract look in there. And I think this whole texturing with the pastel pencils is a lot of fun. I'm actually building all my upper layers with the PanPastel pencils. I'm trying it out. I'm having some fun with that. It's like using mini sticks. You just got to think, you know, whatever one you're using the same media just in a different form. So the sticks are pastel, and you can use them just like how we use sticks, and then the pastel pencils are just like the sticks. So I think you get what I'm saying. So I'm going to welcome anyone else that's showing up here. Hi, Eddie, welcome. And Michelle's in the house. Welcome, Laura. Hello, Laura. Yes, I can never pronounce it like that, but happy Halloween and Salmon. I can never pronounce it that way. I like the way you soften the eyes. Well, thank you, Peg. It's definitely something you start seeing the more you work with figurative, is you don't really realize why the eyes are so, you know, kind of hard and a little bit dramatic. I mean, she's intense, and if you like that look, I could have kept her that way. I also joked in my newsletter how her face was a bit serious. She kind of looks like she's a little ticked off that the bird's on her finger. And I was going to call it, I was joking with my family, you know, what this little turd on here, he's a little mad, you know. It's like, but, you know, I'm going to soften her up. I'm going to play with her mouth a little bit and see if I can soften her. But I also like her stare. She's the muse of creativity. You know, the whole journey isn't always rainbow and unicorns, even though I like to paint it. So let's see. Happy Halloween. I think I've welcomed everybody in here. So we got quite a few of you in here for a Thursday. Thank you. I will pass it along to Cameron. Happy birthday. Nothing better than unpacking art supplies. No kidding. All right, so I'm going to put this aside, And then I also have a printout of where we're at now, and then I can show that at the very end because I really want to show you guys what, how powerful layering is. Like, there's still a lot to do in here, and I want to just, you know, get warmed up here, and I still have the bird, I have the face to layer up, and I have all of this abstracting in the background. So a lot of times it's really good just to warm up with something small and just, you know, get going easy into it. So I'm going to work on just, you know, adding some fun textures on top of this fun abstract in her hair. And I'm just using the 585. It's the olive green pencil. And what my main goal is to kind of unify some of this and just abstract it out and have fun, you know, loosen up the mark making, and you get to just have a good time by, I like scribbling and being messy, but what I've learned is I like doing it with some structure. The structure gives me the confidence to be able to be messy without worrying if I'm going to actually mess the piece up. So that's why I build in structure, and I draw up my pieces, I transfer them on, I support them with the carbon pencil, and then I get to break down all that structure and just have some fun. So I really enjoy that. It's taken me a long time to find my creative process. And once I did, I actually fought it a little bit, and I was like, you know, I just want to show up and make something, and it's going to just, you know, appear. And it just doesn't work that way. You know, I think that takes a lot of years of practice before you get there. Let me see here. I'm thinking this might be fun to do some stripes right here. But you can just have fun with her hair. I think that's going to be just joyful to be able to be messy. So I'm just going to go through, warm up here. I can also, once I get her face finished where I really like it, like I want to bring up her eyebrows a bit and add a few more layers here and bring up the value. But I can put strings of hair in here too. But I don't want to do that yet because I'm not all the way there. And let's see. Thank you, Michelle. I will tell him and Louise. I'm Italian, Dawn. I know exactly what you mean. I love that. Oh, that's great. So you can see how this is almost a lot like it was inspired from an abstract painting. I'll see if I can pull it up and show it to you really quick to show you what inspired me. So I have this, and this is what I'm trying to work with her hair. Oh, it's kind of blown out in that. Let me see if I can turn down the... Well, you can kind of see it. It's a little blown out with the camera, but that's what I'm trying to play with and do with her hair. So at least you can kind of see what I'm inspired from. That's a painting I did a long time ago, and I've always loved it. I've actually made a few pieces from it. And so I'm just breaking things up and, you know, even taking the white, and this is the raw umber. You know, the weather is really strange here today. I think I'm going to open this window. It's just really dark. Just a second. Making adjustments. We are live. We have a lot of overcast going on, and it's just really made it dark in here today. But she looks good on the camera, so that's all that really matters. So I'm just going in here, and I think what I'm trying to do is find a link into the piece with the white. I might just go in here. And I wipe off when I go directly in the white, when I go into the color. I just want to break this up a bit and soften some of the edges in the hair. Just getting warmed up. You can also bring out some of the values in here like that. I can bring that and make it more of a violet by bringing in some of the magenta with the turquoise. And that's going to make a really pretty violet, and I can bump that up. Let's see if I want to pop that anywhere else. So I think I'm just going to work on her hair a bit until I get kind of warmed up. So you can see how I can pop that violet in throughout. I usually will touch a color in multiple spots. We also have the bird here that I got to work on, and I'm going to keep this bird pretty loose and abstract. I'm going to go over it with some pencils still, and I just want to break up some of these sections before I go over in pencil all the way in here. I think I'm going to join these. Well, that's great, Eddie. Yeah, it's pretty dark. Yeah, Stacy, I bet you have more similar weather than I do. Than me. I bet you're closest. Since we're kind of practically neighbors. She's in Washington and I'm in Oregon. But I used to live in Washington. I actually lived in Roy, Washington, Stacy. I'm sure you probably know where that is, by Puyallup. I grew up on a farm out there. Okay, so I think just softening some of these edges is going to make me feel a little bit better and kind of bring the abstract into it. Because I got to start merging, I want to merge the hair a little bit more with the whole background. She's a secret Washingtonian. I'm just a little north of you, Canadian border. Oh, I don't know how close you are, but I also lived in Bellingham, Washington, which is close to the Canadian border. Okay. So I feel like I got some of that white in there that I wanted. There's a lot to do today. I might just go in with my portrait pink. I don't know why the lighting's just really messing with my brain. So I have this portrait pink. This is the lightest area. So I want to really, you know, work on that and bring that brightness out. I can put this portrait pink over anything, and it's going to bring it up like a tint and even, you know, just kind of blend it together. I also have this carmine red, which is a 311, and I can, so my goal with this piece is to do most of the layering with the pencils and break things up a bit so they're not too structured. So my whole, and that's the other part of my goal, is to break down the structure. It's interesting how this pencil looks different on different parts of it. So at this stage, a lot of it becomes intuitive, and I just go through the piece and just have fun and scribble. And I really want the red and the pink to be the dominant color. So that's another motivation. And I'm all into mark making, like trying to create a layer of mark making. So you can see how that's just going to slowly start bringing some of these layers together, because I'm building transitions from one color to the next color. And that is probably one of the biggest lessons, you know, tips today, is that creates color harmony. So you're harmonizing the color throughout the piece. And at this stage where I'm at, I'm going to work around the piece with the colors I have in my hand. Like I know that, you know, I got this bird. I want it to have red in here. So I can bring this color in. I can take, this is the 311, and then I have the 681, which is the light pink. And I can bring up the value on that side. It's amazing how the carmine is such, you know, it really leans into the pink more than I thought it did. So these moments, I start getting scribbly. I might lighten her up. Let me see where she's at on the, she's a negative. So I start putting in these little scribbles moments, and they're spontaneous, and they just start running, you know, where I just spontaneously put them in, and I just do it. And it starts being where it's how it creates the abstract vibe that I'm going for. And I'm also focused on bringing the layers, the black lines, closer and making them less. So my work starts out looking very stained glass looking is the way I've just learned to describe it. But so I'm just taking that, and I gotta fix this transition in the face too right here. So I guess with this technique, you'd really have to like scribbling. So if you like scribbling and want that freedom and to loosen up and just to have some fun, it's really worth trying. And I think I'm just you know, doing PanPastel would be a little bit faster on all of these layers, but you're not going to get this textured look that I think is really fun that's developing. So I want to put a little bit more pink in here, and that's just going to create like blood flow in the skin. And I already have a little bit in there, and I can tone it down a little bit when I put another color over it. So she's going to be very pink. That's my dominant color. All right. Yes, this demo is on the Pastel Insider, Alora. I will catch up on chat just a second. Yeah, this one's on going to be in the Pastel Insider. It'll be ready tomorrow, and it's called the Muse of Creativity. I have actually, this will be the 8th week. No, 8 weeks of Pastel Insider content that's available. And you can actually check this link, and this is going to take you to the page, and you can go look at all the ones that are there already if you're interested. And then I can pin that. Awesome. So it looks like you got the circle of death just now. Yeah, sometimes that's been happening to people. I'm not sure what's going on. We had to restart our whole internet today, so I'm just glad to be here, and that I'm able to be able to do the demo today, but I'm not sure what's going on. But usually someone has to, you know, some people have to log on and log back off. Sometimes the commercials will disrupt the your YouTube experience. So hello, Cindy, welcome. Thank you. I think this is your first time in chat. So I'm going to go here and maybe just focus on the light for a few minutes. And I am going to try to bring that out and have some fun with it. So I'm going to grab some yellow here. I really love this 210. This is a Carbothello, and it's an orange yellow. And I'm just going to start getting rid of the black lines here. I might have to erase a couple, but it's abstract, so, you know, we're not being too literal. And I'm going to bring out some of this yellow. I just think the pastel pencils with the PanPastel are a no-brainer. I don't think I could do the style that I do if I didn't have both of them. I mean, for sure I wouldn't be able to do the style that I do if I didn't have the both of them. So you can see I brought in quite a bit of yellow there, but we're going to be mixing it up with, you know, some other colors to create interest. I have this Caran d'Ache pencil. It's called Saffron. It's a beautiful orange, and it really is close to the orange tint that I created there. And I'm just going to bring some of that into the light area. Closing down on some of the black lines. Then I can put that on some of this light area. Oh, wonderful, Cindy. I'm so glad that you subscribed. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you. I'm just making sure I got everyone's, that I'm caught up on chat here. Thank you, Michelle, for your cheerleading. You're the greatest, I tell you. You and quite a few people put some amazing pieces in the Facebook group this week. I love seeing that. I'm trying to keep up with it. I've had a lot this week, but I try to go in there and get caught up, and I did that this morning. So you can see how I'm starting to blend some of these areas, and you're gonna see how that starts looking more unified into the piece. And I want you to keep your eye on this side and then start looking right here and see how the unification of all of those, you know, bits. I just kind of blocked in those colors really fast, and now I'm unifying everything. I'm making it one with the piece. And I think that is something that it's taken me a long time to be able to verbalize that that's what I'm doing. But I think that is a powerful thing to think about, like that, because everything looks stained glass, I'm going to unify it together. Now I have been playing around with the idea of doing the bright sky around the bird too. I'm just going to maybe go for it because I just really like the idea of it. And I think what I'm going to do, see, ideas come, you know, I don't work like in a methodical state. So I work with, you know, I'll start somewhere, I get warmed up. You guys, it's 1:59, so I'm pretty warmed up right now. And then I start seeing things and I'll work with them. So I'm going to thin down this line here. And the cool thing about this paper, if you're new here, it erases and you can make changes fairly easy. So I'm going to go in with, even though I usually use my raw umber here, I'm going to go in with my white, and we're thinning down that line next to her chin and her neck, because right here I'm going to want that to be a little bit more brighter. I don't know, I'll probably do it on this side too and maybe put my little burst of black. I always like to push back with black in my work, but you know, the other thing is I'm learning to express is that, I was telling someone this the other day, is, you know, each painting has its own voice, and I really try not to, I really try to listen to it. So if something that I usually do on another painting isn't necessarily working for this painting, I usually try to stay pretty open and lean into that. Like if I ever feel like I'm pushing against something, then I'll just go, okay, let's just try this time and see how it feels. So I've thinned those lines down, and I'm going to just bring out the light a little bit more here. I really love pink mixed in with orange. This is, oh, sorry guys. This is the Saffron, and it's a 52. It's the Caran d'Ache from the Caran d'Ache line, which is an extra soft pastel pencil. This is the 582. It's one of my favorites. It's portrait pink. Most of my pencils that I'm using, I'll tell you, but are from the Carbothello set of 48 that I recommend starting out with. Though it's a great way to begin is with that set. So I think I'm going to want to, you know, kind of blend this. You know, these are going to meet, and there's going to be a little black line, but I'm really surprised it's not as bright. Here, I'm going to tap it, make sure it's focused. Yeah, it's pretty focused. Okay. Well, I think what the little bird needs is this little speck of life so you guys can actually see him. So let's put that in there. I'm going to get my dowel, and I'm going to put his little, and I usually use a, I don't use white all the time. I'll usually use, this is a ivory, it's a 105. Got that in there. And then I have my bird here. I have to make sure I don't lose his little beak. And so I'm going to bring his beak up, and I'm actually going to keep it more in the whites, but I don't want it, this is the 700 raw umber, and I'm actually, you know what, I might even bring it just into the violet. This is a Caput Mortem, and then I use the Caput Mortem, the 642, one of my favorite colors. That's a Carbothello pencil. And then I'm going to take the a lighter pencil like this ivory, and I'm going to highlight the beak. And then just around his eye, that's pretty dark. This is a 99, it's an aubergine, and it's like in the violet family. So you can see how I was in the hair, and now I'm working on the bird. Now I'm not going after perfect feathers or anything like that. I'm just getting the shape in there. I'll catch up on chat here in just a sec. I really like this color. I thought instead of doing a blue bird, you know, like a sparrow, I'm going to do the violet bird. Oh, thank you, Stacy. I appreciate that. I know the Caran d'Ache, I gifted myself that. I think I did it for like Christmas or something, and I bought the whole set, and it took me a while to warm up to them, guys. Like, these live streams are me really like getting into them because they are really soft. I really recommend that you do have, like, the Pitt pencils are my favorite, and the Carbothellos, because they're a medium hardness. They're not as, oh, I don't want a white, but they're not as, I do want a white. Like, these are a medium, and they really fit with the paper where they're smooth, no matter, you know, really what layer I'm on. And the Caran d'Ache takes some time to get into that smoothness. So they definitely have a little bit of a learning curve on them. how to bring this face up a bit too. I want to bring up her eyebrows too. So this is just the white, the titanium white. Oh yeah, I can't imagine what they're like in Australia. Did I miss somebody coming into chat? No, it's just Cindy. Welcome, Cindy. I already said welcome. Yep, they are hard to sharpen. The only luck I've had with the Caran d'Ache pencils are these M&Rs. And if I do get a difficult pencil, I'll hand sharpen them with an X-Acto knife. Okay, so I'm feeling really good about the bird. I'm going to put a little dark in his eye area right here. This is my shadow pencil. It's a 175. I want his eye to be separate, so if I use too dark of a pencil, I'll lose everything. So I'm going to really sharpen a pencil here real quick because I want to create the line around the eye. And so I'm going to sharpen up this ivory pencil, and I'm going to try to get in here. Oh, that usually doesn't go that smoothly. That actually worked. Usually I have to push back and forth a little bit, and it can be a little bit of a nightmare. So I think I'm going to go in with some of this. Let me see if burnt sienna would just be like a little bit of a darker red in there. This is actually a 655. It's a Indian, no. 655 is my English Red Deep. And then I'm going to go back with my shadow pencil a little bit. Yeah, I think I like that just staying like that. So in their, the chest, I want to, this is a 700. I want to keep the chest pretty, I think if I build this up with the 700 a little bit, I don't know, do I want to do that? I might want to leave it. I'll do it faded. Just a little bit of pattern in there, kind of faded. So I'm being real, I'm not even pushing down on the pencil. I'm just letting the pencil lean on it, and I'm just kind of making my own little pattern there, and I'm knocking it down a little bit. And then now that I've used that, I have something to go on with my white pencil. And I can actually, you know, bring the pattern out more if I want. So you just get where it's so I want it to kind of blend in. Oh, I like that. I like it. I like it. I'm going to put a little, still a little, whoops, little highlight on his beak there. That's fun. So now I have the, this is where the Caran d'Ache pencils really shine, is they have a really wide range of pencils. So they'll have more than just like what I found in the sets, is you just get like 3 different greens, or they don't keep the same range to where you can actually build off of them. So this pencil is an 83, and it's ultramarine pink, and it really goes into kind of like the whole tint family. So you can go on top of this violet here, and there's really no other pencil kind of like that, and I can bring up the value in that. But see, with these pencils, I have to be really light with. They're just so soft. And I can go back and forth with that. So like say I use the 99, I think is what I had in here. And if I feel like that was too much, then you go back and forth. And this is how pencils are supposed to be, you know, used, is now I'm going over a highlight and it brings that up a little bit in value range than it was before. So there's a little bit of give and take there. And then since it's in the sun, like there's light on it, I can even bring a little bit of this yellow, which is that 210, it's an orange yellow. And I'm going to take down that black line that is making it stand out in a way where it's like should be a shadow and it's not, it's in the light. So I'm really liking the lighting on the bird right there. I'll be right there just a moment. I'm going to check on my dog. So during these lives, he started to fall asleep really deeply and he's been dreaming. And he's making all these noises that I'm not used to hearing. So the way that to create light in your work is to, you know, I've built a lot of this up using mostly midtones. And then I don't bring it all up at the same time so I can see where my darks are, and then I'm bringing out the light from the dark paper. So I'm constantly going up in value. So if you think of a value scale, I show this almost every live, but the value scale, the 10s are to the back and the 0s are all the way up to the front. So your brightest is going to pull something out and your darks are going to push it back. So with that in mind, that's what I'm playing around with. So I still feel like I have to bring out some of the face. And then when you're working with the face, like right now, she's pretty pink. So if I want to neutralize that pink or do something, you know, to like tone it down, then I can bring in another color like a tint. And then that tint is going to bring in that color. And so I would say, like, I still feel like in her face that I would want to bring up some of these areas a little bit more. And so I'm going to just going to bring in my little squiggles with my ivory pencil. So this is the 105. I still got to do her eyebrows. I almost keep forgetting. And I want to get those, you know, looking at like this, for instance, as just a reference point for lighting. You can see that the forehead's lighter. That little dark part around with her eye, between her eyes, is right here. So you can see that subtlety. It's more dramatic. And then I want to make sure I keep a little darks under her eyes here. I've got her eyelids, and then around her lips are a little bit brighter, her chin. So you can use other references, like if you're drawing from memory, or I mean from imagination, like a lot of this is all hodgepodge together from multiple pieces. I can use something like this to guide me along if, you know, if I feel like I need something like that. So it's a great tip to how you can kind of start exploring, and you don't always need the exact reference. So I'm going to put some of this white where, you know, for instance, I can work on right here, and I can just look on here and go, okay, that's going up to about here. And that's if, you know, the lighting source, I really like this on this piece. I wouldn't mind doing one of these. I think this is a future piece with her looking off like this. I can use this one as a reference, but you can see how I'm just going to go here and the chin. I have all of those darks in there, and I can bring out the highlights in the chin. And I don't have to necessarily have the exact same painting here. Now, I want to go in and work on maybe some of these under her eyes, but when you bring up the values, you have an opportunity to highlight that even more. And then I can go back and forth. Oh, I feel like I might have missed chat. I got really into it, guys. Sometimes I get into flow, and you just had one of those moments. Okay, so this says, are they really soft then, please? I'll probably say this about every face you create, but I just love her expression. Well, thank you, Francine. I really appreciate that so much. Small wins. They're all soft and the colors are gorgeous. Yeah, Peg, like I was saying, yeah, they're an amazing brand of pencil. Do you have a site where you would be able to print off headshots of models like the one you're using with this piece? Well, you can go to unsplash.com, and there's all kinds of this. This is one of those paintings from headshots. They're all free. It's unsplash.com, and you can get free reference images. Yeah, you can get all kinds of references of animals, all kinds of stuff. I just love their site. Here's a few more, like, let me see, I thought I had, like, I got these women from Unsplash. I really love, like, the black and whites from there. So, you know, you just start using some search terms, and you can build up albums. And I didn't know I was going to do a commercial for Unsplash, but they've really helped me out, and they've helped a lot of artists out with references, and I just love them because I can get them and change them up, and I've put them in some of my classes when I use them. I will put the references and include those in there. So right here above the eye, you can see how above the eye here, there is a higher value. So I'm going to put a little bit of that in there and play with that. It might be too much, and if it's too much, then I can go over that with another color to tone it down a little bit. I'm just really enjoying this scribble thing going on. I know I'm going to have a lot of finishing work on this one because of it, but I've really been wanting to do this for a long time, and I also want to do some more stick pastel work where I use PanPastel as the underpainting more, and then do the piece more fully in the sticks. I got enough sticks, that's all I can say, to do that. Okay, so you still have to be really conscious of, you know, there's shadow under there, you know, the lip, I can, you know, modify that however I want. But usually, you know, I've done quite a few pieces that are around these lips in the upper part. They really are whiter. Thank you for the hearts. You're welcome, Karen. Have fun. You might end up never coming up for air going on Unsplash. I'll make sure I put that link down below too for you guys. I mean, it's a great learning resource place. And, you know, maybe I'll put it in my newsletter too. I've definitely talked about it a lot, but, you know, we can only take so much in, right? Like, so you can see how I'm bringing up her face, and it's slowly, but it's a little bit brighter. And if there's parts where I feel like are desaturated, like they're too white, I can always go in with some color that are maybe in a similar value scale. So I'm going to go in with a little bit of this purple. This, now what time are we at? 2:20. I'm glad we have time, because this piece is, if you're a Pastel Insider, you're going to get a big journey, because I don't think I'll be able to get this one fully done today. So this is a Caput Mortem, which I really love it. It's the 642. There's definitely some core colors in the Carbothello set that I love, and this is one of them. trying to blend this line out a little bit. So I'm going to use my peach pencil. I have a 189. These Pitt pencils, they have all, I talked about these a lot last time. These are really beautiful. They have a whole flesh set. Now you can see how I've, you know, kind of blended that out a bit. So I'm going to work on the eyebrows really quick. Oh, I'm sure there are. I don't really spend a lot of time on Facebook. I'm so busy with so many things that I usually go and I'm in the Facebook group and then I'm off. I think Instagram's where I spend, and YouTube is where I spend most of my time now. And since I started YouTubing, you can only do so much when you're one person. So I want a little bit thicker of an eyebrow here. This is an eraser. This is my Mono Zero. It gets used in all different ways. And because I'm on a dark paper, I can just erase out some of the pastel and I can get a thicker eyebrow here. Now, when you're working with eyes and eyebrows, they should go up to your inside of your eye there. So that's what I'm looking for there. I already have a little bit in there. I don't know how thick I'm wanting them, so I'm just gonna go like that and see what that feels like. I'm gonna use a burnt umber just to bring in the eyebrow. This is a 670 and it's actually called burnt umber. And then I'm going to use my shadow pencil, which is my 175. It's a Pitt pencil, and I'm going to get some, I'm going to break up some of that. They're going to look a little harsh. They'll get softer. So this is one of those moments where you're like, okay, she just got a microblading job. You know, she just went to the salon. The person looks back and goes, okay, how are we doing there? And then you can adjust. So I'll use other pastel pencils to kind of adjust that. Now I'm gonna feel like she's off a little bit, but I think that has more to do with the shadow underneath. So I'm going to use the burnt sienna and I'm going to play with this right here. And I'm just going to curve this in a bit. I might end up going back and forth with it. It's just, now I'm using the 131, which is a pinker pencil. I might have to grab the other one. Wow, I didn't expect that to be that dark. I'm going to use it over here for this transition. I know I really like this pink, and sometimes, you know, you just got to go with it. Maybe she's just going to be pinker than more of my other pieces. This is the pink tint. I'm just trying to get these transitions of her eye. I might have to play around with that a little bit. So I'm just softening. I think I'm going to keep the strength of that. So, like I've said, I don't like to blow off in my studio. I think that's a really bad habit to get into, especially with pastel. I just tap off into my tray down here and blow off outside after the live. So I just tapped her off a little bit, and I'm just going to work on maybe transitioning the chins in this area. This is the 99, it's the aubergine. Now I like to have color in my pieces with figurative. Some people like a little bit more realistic of a skin tone, but this is something I just know that is in my joy. So I'll usually put these violets in the shadow areas, the cool areas that I want to push back a little bit more. And a lot of this is about getting these transitions between the skin. And I can push those back and forth. Might go a little bit darker. I have this really amazing, so I don't have a lot of the Derwent. The Derwent is a great brand too. I don't have as many because I bought a lot of my pencils before in the Derwent. But this is the Dioxide Purple. I always will grab purples out of any brand. I love purples because they're really hard to get good ones. And this one is amazing for like a shadow pencil. So if you have the shadow pencil, that's great. You can just use that. But I can put this in the edges and it just pushes it back. Now, she's got earlobes here. I think it might help if I put those in there. I'm going to use a dark burnt sienna and just put those earlobes in there. I should maybe put them in as the purple, but I always feel like I have to have a little bit of the skin over them. And then push them back with that dark. I guess I could have just put this in there. I really don't want them to like stick out like there's some thing. I just want them to be a hint of it. So you can see even with just a little bit of time and patience, how much I've got the transitions between the skin really starting to smooth out. So that's going to take time with a scribble effect, you know, like it's not going to happen right away. What do you say pencils are better for what do you say? Pencils are better for an intermediate pastel artist. I'm thinking of going with those rather than Caran d'Aches as my next set. Well, Francine, what set do you have? So tell me what you got first, because I don't think the Caran d'Aches, I think going and grabbing a few Caran d'Aches, why don't I make a list of like my top, you know, 10 Caran d'Ache pencils or something like that. I can put that in my next newsletter or in the pastel group, or I'll do a short with it. But I would maybe buy the Caran d'Aches open stock and then get a next set. Yeah, I would get the Pitt. Do you have the Pitt pencils? So you have the Carbothellos, but do you have the Pitt pencils? Because I would do the Pitt pencils, and I would make sure whatever you buy, because some of the sets don't have it for Pitt pencils. You know, buying open stock isn't the worst thing, but I would make sure all these like flesh pencils are in there. The 132, the 189, you know, stuff like that. Like you can email me too, and I can we chat on email, and I can send that to you. Okay. All right, so I feel like the violets are coming in really nicely with the bird and the shadows. Her skin tone's starting to really level out. So I'm going to work with her body and her hair because I don't have that much time. I have both the Pitt and the Carbothellos. Oh, then I would go with a Caran d'Ache. I would treat yourself to some Caran d'Ache pencils. They're really, really beautiful. If you already have those two sets and you've bought all of them, I think that would be a real good treat. Okay, I'm going to start working on the hair, guys, because I feel like I got to get this abstract on. And God, I love the pink with this green. sometimes I just like to get really messy, you know? You got to have a couple of those spots where you just go, I'm going for it. I am getting some messiness in there, you know? Like you got to have that energy in there, like that moment. And then you can bring some of these blocks together, and they don't have to be, I put the blocks in there for you guys, for the Pastel Insiders who are doing this. I put the blocks in there to help you abstract. I was like, this is going to be hard if you don't have like some guideline to abstract. So I put the block in there, these little, you know, blocks all around on the line art, so you could have a guideline to do the abstracting. Oh, interesting. The Derwent are hard for you to sharpen. Oh, I don't have a hard time with those. I love Derwent as a rule, though. Well, then you have to follow your heart. Follow your intuition on that. But I don't have the full Derwent set. I do feel like they're lighter, like the wood's lighter. I don't know, there's something about them that's a little lighter. I don't have enough of them to really give an opinion fully. I only have like probably, well, I probably have more than I know. I probably have almost the set, but I just don't, I don't pull them. I don't pull them as much as I do for the Carbothellos. The Carbothello, well, I don't pull the Derwent. There's special Derwents that I love. I love like this one. I pull this one all the time. So that is when I would buy open stock. Like I would just get this pencil. You're not paying that much more for open stock sometimes, you know, it's worth it. So right now I don't, let me think a moment what color I want to grab real quick. Yeah, I think that would be a good one. And I also think this rust is cool. I want to play with the rust. And I'm just pulling some pencils here that I know. And I think putting some of this Caput Mortem is going to be awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the 675. Like this one is the French Red Ochre. This is in the set of 48. And I'm just going to start scribbling in here, breaking up some things. And this is how you get that rainbow fun joyfulness. Like a lot of times when I'm tapping into something, they'll be closer on the color wheel. So I'll use this pencil to tap into a lot of the red areas because they're related. I got down here. Gosh, this color would be really good in the skin a little bit right here. I got to get this spot kind of built up down here, but I could also do that behind the scenes because that's going to take a little bit of time. Like maybe it's right here. Let me try to put a little bit. I got to sharpen this. And if you ever have hard time sharpening, a lot of times if you're using this M&R sharpener, you really need to keep that blade sharp. I feel like I need to take back some of this. And I'm looking in the monitor. Oh, and you know what? I was going to work on some of the lips today too. Let me, I'm jumping around, but that's okay. I think I might save the hands and this for behind the scenes. I want to get the outfit going, and I definitely got to work on the lips. So let's work on the lips here. Let's see if the I'm going to bring in a little bit of my shadow pencil in here. The upper lip's usually supposed to be a little bit darker, and so I'm going to work with that and create some depth. Oh, that's crazy. I've never heard that about the Derwent. I know, you got to have them all. Yeah, I would say the pencils are hard because I want to buy a lot. I want them all. But you know what? I've really limited myself to this medium. I'm not buying a lot of other medium like I used to. So this is going to open up her mouth just a little bit, kind of her expression. And I'm going to go back and forth here because I really want down below here to have a little bit of shadow, and I got to reshadow this out a little bit. It's going to look like a little mustache for the moment. So I think I'm going to use this one. It's 131. It's kind of got a real pinky look to it. And I'm going to mix that into the shadow pencil, and then it's going to create some depth there. And then I have that French red ochre. I'm just going back and forth with a few different. I think I'm going to lighten up the lower. Actually, I'm going to go with the peach. So these are the flesh ones that I keep showing you. One's a little bit lighter than the other. And I'm going to go and bring, that one's not light enough, so you just don't know. This is the 132. I might even have to go lighter. And so I'm just bringing out that part of the lip. And then I have the pink tint. I mean, yeah, it's the pink tint. This is the 681. So I'm just slowly building that up here. Trying to make those little lines in there so it matches the rest. And I'm going to bring down these little sides of the lip. Sometimes just tapping it with your finger just a little bit. Okay, now this is where I want to add a little Shazam. So I'm going to use some Scarlet Red. And this is where I'm putting some of that saturation back in. And then I can use the pink pencil. The Scarlet Red was the 70. That's a Caran d'Ache. This is a Pitt pencil. This is the 131. And then you can go back and forth and tone that down a little bit. So I'm going to use the pink. I'm actually going to use the pink tint. I think I'm going to go with ivory actually. And I'm going to bring up this little spot under the lip. So I'm not into being perfect, but there's certain things that I will focus on. And I want this to be more abstract, but her face is a little tighter and the abstracting has been more of the squiggles. And so I'm gonna just go with that because each piece, you know, if I'm pushing against trying to force something, I just have to kind of go with it. Let's see. Okay, you guys are all talking about pencils. Well, that's awesome. Well, I'm glad you guys are all here. I got 45 minutes left, and I think I'm going to be able to at least get the hair brought up and the outfit and the face to a good spot. I think the face is pretty colorful, but I'm just going to go with that. Lean into it. So this, the raw umber that I have underneath the white here, this pencil is the 700. I also wanted to bring back the line that was in here. So I'm just going to use my eraser pencil that I have, and I'm going to just bring that back in. So that line's actually down here. And this is what's kind of amazing about the paper and what you can do. So I can just put that line back in and then put some squiggles around it to kind of blend it back in again. So I'm just going to use this 132. I don't want it to be perfect. Okay, I got people coming in and out of the house, so Sunny might bark a little bit, so sorry guys. I can mute my... Sunny, it's okay. Come here, buddy. Okay, so you can see how I'm starting to kind of blend in the flowers just a little bit. I'm going to use a little bit of this pink tint, and that's going to soften them. I don't necessarily want, they don't need to be a hard shape, but I'm just trying to soften them in to be more subtle with the tones that they're around. Trying to push that structure into abstract the more and more here. And so I want to bring a little bit more of the saturation. So I'm going to use that portrait pink. This is a Caran d'Ache, and it's the 582. I do want to figure out something about where it's joining in on her face there for the piece, but I feel like I want to go a little bit more dramatic on the pink there. I think this too is really something that needs to be brought up, and I know I'm gonna work on that more, but you're gonna see how these, when you see the before and after, you'll be amazed at how much we've done today. It's always fun to try, you know, a new technique out and see what it feels like. And I really want to encourage you guys, you know, just even when you're doing like practicing on your own and trying this out on, you know, maybe you like this technique, maybe it's speaking to you and you want to try it even on a smaller scale or whatever, just to explore and have some fun. Not everything needs to turn out to be a piece that you want to post. And when we're learning, we got to give ourselves a little bit of grace there. I feel like I need to work on her hair more, but I really wanted to be happy with this neck before we left today. So I think with that, I'm going to bring in some of this Caput Mortem. This is the 642. And that's going to go back and forth on the lights that I put in and create a little bit of a blending effect. So I like the scribble effect. It does take a little bit more time. I think I maybe, it's fun to do it, but I don't know if I would do it all the time. Like I really had it in my brain that I wanted to try this, and I'm glad I did. But it's fun, but I definitely think this part takes a long time to get it to a spot. I think the one thing I wanted to try was even more of a free where there isn't as much line structure, but it'll be interesting just to see how this one keeps evolving. So I have this ochre. It's a 690, and it's actually called a golden ochre. And I'm going to, it's a little bit neutral of the yellow I was using earlier. And I'm just going to kind of keep blending this out. Barking is okay. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying my scritchy scratching. It's really fun. So I hope you guys will try this out. And I think it's going to be really fun to see how this abstract works. So I'm going to actually pull a line of hair down and see how I like that. I'm sharpening a Caran d'Ache, so this is where I'm really gentle. And I don't always, so here's another thing. If you guys are sharpening your pencils, try not to sharpen them like you would colored pencils. Colored pencils go real tightly sharped. This is sharp to me. I mean, these are sharp. I don't want to pull so much away from my pencils that I'm taking away beautiful, you know, lead. I don't know if you can see that on camera as much as I can. I really love that over the yellow and the green. Might do a little bit of that over here. I guess the biggest thing is really showing you the possibilities of, you know, incorporating this abstract into something that's a little bit more structured. I really feel like the lines start breaking, you know, up the piece where it's not so rigid. I like that. So you can see how just all of this is starting to really become one. If I just left it, it would just be, you know, oh, that's hair is very interesting, but I want it to organically come together and have a relationship with each other, not the hair being chunk, and then the face, and then the bird. So that's my goal. And that's another thing about bringing the color around the piece is, and you have to really resist putting your finger on and wanting to smooth it. And I think that is something kind of fun to realize about myself, is like, I'm like, oh my gosh, I really want to put my finger on that. So I'm going all in on the pink. You know, I've never been one that can just stick with one thing. Like I'm just not where I'm going to put abstracts and that's all I'm going to do. And I went and I spent a lot of time on my art journey thinking that that's what I was supposed to do. Like I looked at other artists and I'm like, okay, the only way to be successful, I'm going to use the 99 here, it's the aubergine. The only way to be successful is to have a full feed of abstracts that look the same. And it's just not, I just don't, that's not joyful for me. And so I've really been steadfast at doing the different subject matters. I don't consider myself an abstract artist. I don't consider myself a figurative. I don't label myself. And one of the reasons why I don't label myself is if I wake up tomorrow and I'm inspired to paint, you know, a goldfish, I want to be okay with that and not go, oh, that's not my brand. So that's a little bit of, you know, that hasn't been easy for me. Like, I feel a real pressure sometimes to like, to line up with something that strongly, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. Well, I'm really starting to love the hair. It's starting to feel like that piece that inspired me. I'm going to start putting some scritchy scratchies of the white in, and I'm going to put a little bit of this white on cheek there. Might be a little too much, but I'll go back and forth. I think I'm going to go like this and put dots here. So this is the titanium white. I got a few layers here, so I'm working that in. I'll sharpen this. Do any of you guys still go out for Halloween? My kids are pretty grown, so they're not really, this is probably one of the, every year they get older and older and we don't do stuff like that as much. And I don't have a lot of friends that celebrate and do parties. Ha ha ha, I don't want to rub it around and then I've got to start over with the scritchy scratchy. It's so true. That's going to be your issue, is touching it with your finger. I will 100% try the pencil throwdown. Right on, Stacy. Right on. That's like me. I label myself as eclectic. People think I do one type and then I randomly do something totally different. I think it confuses them though. But I like to be a lot of different styles. You may not do the same thing, but you have a very recognizable style that no matter what subject matter, which I find very cool. Thank you. I have been told that a lot when I doubt myself. My good friend Lori is like, you have a recognizable style. So that took a long time to get there. I really like doing these little scallops on these random lines. My teenagers just party together now. No more walking the streets. Yeah, I'm exactly the same way. Okay, so I'm feeling like the hair is coming together. I'm sure I'll have some other moments that need to be done here. I'm going to bring a little bit of this white in right here. And I also feel like I want to do that up here. You don't want to take away all the pretty color that's in there though. So I'm going to take out some of this black right here. And if you feel like you did something that went a little too far, you can just, you know, pat it down with PanPastel and go over it again. Like, there's no wrong here. I'm going to work on this spot just a little bit. And I think I'm actually going to use the carmine. Well, let's go with this rust, if I can find it. I have terracotta. I don't want terracotta. I don't know how terracotta got in here. I don't know. I'm pulling that one out. It jumped in there. It felt sad that it wasn't being used. So Oh, here it is. I got these really pretty raw russet and a medium russet, and these are the Caran d'Ache pencils. So I'm gonna play with a few of these in here. They're really rich. I think they balance out the red. Let me see, we're at 302. So I consider this russet like a really, like almost like a pumpkin orange. It's really beautiful, kind of really rich. I might put a little bit of that in here. I really like this color. Put a little bit of that in here. Halloween isn't big in Australia. That makes sense. I don't only change my choices within each medium. I change mediums so often, but I agree with Michelle. You're recognizable, Dawn, no matter what you paint. Oh, thank you. It's getting bigger here, Michelle. Suburbs are dressing up their houses. Oh, interesting. Oh, hi, Chrisella. Did I miss you? Did I miss you come in? I'm sorry. Welcome. Yeah, we don't have trick-or-treaters here either. We live on a cul-de-sac. Okay, so I feel I'm gonna go in here. I feel like up here just needs a little bit. Yeah, we used to have to go to a different neighborhood because they just didn't. I have a darker one. I think I'm going to use the darker one. This is the, so these two were the 6.6 and the 6.4, and this one's the medium russet is the darker one. I'm going to use that in here to get some scratchy scratchies in the outfit. I think for me, I like this technique. I really do. I don't think I could do it big. I think I'd rather maybe go to sticks, pastels. It's the same thing. I'm basically going to use sticks, but I'm not going to be able to do all the scratchy marks. But I think that you get more coverage a little bit faster. I think this takes a little bit extra time, which I don't necessarily mind. I feel like her outfit's coming together quite nicely. Kind of have a desire to put some of this in her eye right here. Maybe in this transition. I don't know, I just really like this rust and I want to work it in here. Oh, I probably shouldn't have gone across. Oh, there I've touched my scritchy scratches. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. I got to remind myself that too. I don't know, there's just something about this rust that I'm really digging. So can hang out with the rust. It's like you guys are going to be like, Dawn, step away from the rust. Step away from the rust. Oh, she's coming together nicely. I can see where I need to, let me tie my shoe so I don't fall here live. My shoelace came untied. Good stretch anyway. I should be stretching more. Okay, I'm going to do my moment fixing these 3 spots before. I don't want to leave without those kind of dealt with. I don't know how this is going to work on this side, so I'm just going to try and just see. Because there's light in there. I could make it go all the way white, but you know, this is kind of my jam where I push things dark. So I'm using a little bit of the black PanPastel there. And I also am going to go I hear some weird noises and I don't know what it is. I'm just playing. I don't know what I want to do right there. I don't know if I want to leave it. I know I do want this though. I usually really, I have to do the bird's feet. Let me just get some scribbles in here and see how it feels. Rust it up. It's making you happy. Dawn's house is haunted. Yeah, I got lots of noises. I think it's my husband in the garage. This is what happens when he has a day off. I get to hear him tinkering around when he's normally in his office. Now I'm thinking here that shoulder goes down and that's going to be either a neck or background. I think I'm just going to let it be a mystery at the moment. Now, this might not be your jam. It's something I really like to do to mess things up and have them look a little bit more mixed media. I always describe this as mixed media because that's where it's kind of from. I like to bring the black in and have these little moments with it. Black is such a grounding color, you know, part. A lot of my composition, it will be guided by the black. So I think here I'm going to put those stripes that I normally like doing. And I'm going to close up these gaps since your eye is probably going right to it. I'm going to use, I think I'm going to use green. I think I'm going to use the darker green because I don't want my eye going like right all over it. Let me see what this looks like, if it even shows up. Yeah, that shows up. So I rotate my pencils around. So you can see it doesn't look super sharp, but I'm rotating it around on those edges. Maybe this, she's got an abstract pattern on her shirt. I don't know. But one of the other things is this red and green are, you know, complementary colors. So I can bring in a little bit of that brighter green. So that was the this 585, if I didn't say it, the green, sorry, the 585, the olive green, one of my favorites. That's a Carbothello. This is a 570. It's a leaf green. That's a little too bright. I'm going to go one step down. This is still a leaf green. It's a 575. That was a leaf green middle. Yes, rotating the pencil is definitely a good habit to do. Yeah, maybe my house is haunted. I sage my house all the time, so it's probably not too haunted. I clear that energy. I sage and clear the energy almost in front of every live too. So now I have it in my hands, so now I'm going to go around, and I really kind of like that. I'm not going to bug that. Oh, I really like where she's going, folks. Sometimes when you wait and you don't finish something off, this is a good tip. You don't finish something off. I'm using the 189. This is a flesh pencil, and I'm just doing the value on this knuckle here. When you don't finish something off, but you finish the most important parts, which is the face, the bird, and the hair, and you leave other things unfinished, you start to learn that you might not need to finish it all in the first place. That's a big lesson for myself along the way. Like, I'll be like, oh, I got to do so much here. Oh, I got to even out all of the textures right here and make them all match the face. And sometimes it teaches you that it's okay to leave that unfinished look, which I feel, I don't have the perfect word for it, is more artsy, more loose, more painterly. If you're always trying to make it all the way finished and you're bringing it up so quickly and you don't leave it and come back to it, then you won't see that. And you can see how I'll harmonize colors in, and I'll move colors in through the piece. And it's really easy to go over and kind of calm down any sections. So I feel like here I might do something. I don't really love it. It's subtle. I might see what white dots might look like. I'm just going to play with that real quick. See if I can fall in love with it a little bit. White dots fix everything. Right? I mean, I know there's got to be a lot of you that have tried a lot of things, and I don't think you can ever have too many white dots in a piece. I might do a couple of them. That's kind of fun. Yes, right, Laura. Exactly. Oh, I love this ghost, Stacy. Exactly. Exactly. Like sometimes I'll even go and, you know, when I'm done here, you know, say I thought this was a little much. I can take my finger and just blur it out a little bit. Like blur this out, you know, just stuff that's going farther away. I think it's kind of fun a little bit when you're like, okay, well, I'll just make this a little bit blurry. It changes up the texture a little bit. Just got to make sure you wipe your hand off when you do it. I think it's kind of giving it a little bit more dreamier of a look, you know? Any excuse to put my finger on it and mess it up. So right here underneath the bird, I got to do something there. And I'm going to tap in just a little bit of this raw umber. I don't know if that's the background, but I'm kind of feeling like it is. I feel like her neck would go down and then would come down. So I'm just going to leave it like that right. Well, that might be still a little low. Huh. Well, we'll just go like this. See, we're just trying to get that little peak spot, and I'm just going to not use pencils. I'm going to do this. And I still don't have her feet, the feet done. I'm going to do those in a, I might use my darker purple that I have. My favorite one, which is the, well, I have this one too. It's like how, I have this plum. I don't know where my dioxide purple just went. I mean, how far can it go? I mean, I only have this tray here. I keep shoving things in my holder, so, oh, here it is. Because I have too much stuff. I show pictures of my tray in my newsletter. I'm like, so this one's pretty dull. This is the plum, and I am, oops, success. I got a good sharpen. I got these two. This plum is going to be lighter, and this dioxide is the P280. It's a Derwent. That's a shadow pencil. You can use a shadow pencil that I have. This one works too. It just doesn't have any saturation of color in it. This is the 175. So if you have that already, you can just use that. But I'm just going to play with the dark purples, and I honestly think this is a wing actually going back. So I am going to use this brighter purple here that I have on the wing, going down the wing, and this is the wing. It got a little off, and now I feel like I just found it. So sometimes lines can get lost. Yes. Oh, Jonas came. Hi, Jonas, welcome. Did you end up doing any Halloween portraits? I knew you were going to work on something. And then when I get the feet in there, you know, I think the belly of the bird, I might just bring it up a bit. I think it's a little too dark for what I want. I'm just gonna bring it up. When I feel something like that, I'm just gonna do it. I mean, I got time. So I'm using the 700 pencil. I'm gonna bring up the belly. And then I'm going to use my white. And then I'm going to pat that down a bit. And then I'm going to marry it where it all kind of blends in there. Yeah, I like that better. Yeah, that's a lot better. That pretty orange. This is the saffron, and it is a 52. This is a real soft one. This is a 530. They call this one Gold Cadmium Yellow. Oh, this is a pretty rich. See, I haven't even used this one yet. This is a new one. I might put a little bit of yellow in. Let me see what that. I might use the. I got this one. I also have. I might go with this ochre. I got the 690 and it's an ochre. I just want to put a little bit. No, I'm going to use that cadmium, this gold cadmium. I might push this back and forth, but I'm just going to put a little bit of light on her. All right, let's see here. Oh, you did a Gomez. Oh, I'll have to check it out. I'll definitely go by and say hi. Well, thank you, Lynn. I'm glad you like the bird. Okay, so I'm feeling, let me tap her off and I mean, she definitely has a little bit more work to go, but I think she really is at a really good spot. I might find another spot to put a few more of these black spots because I feel like I only have one. But kind of balances that out a little bit. So I definitely got to bring up a little bit more of her skin tones, but I might keep it pretty loose since we've talked about that. I feel really good about it. I have the 311. I'm going to put some more patterns in her outfit. This is that carmine, which is really like a peachy red. I'm going to try, I'm going to use the Scarlet Red. This is the 70. And then I'm going to bring it up. Maybe I'll just bring it up with the Portrait Pink. Just trying to get this spot where I like it. I have this really bright, it is called the Ultramarine Pink, and it's an 83, and it's a Caran d'Ache. I don't know, it's just not as bright as I want it to be. Maybe I'll use some of this yellow right here and see what that feels like. This is the 530. So I'll probably play around with this part of the face after the live because I'm not sure how I want it to go, and I'm not loving it. I think it could even be one of those moments where I fade it out a little bit more than I have here. It might just be the black lines, yeah. And then I can put a little bit more of the lighter scribbles over it and see what that feels like. Sometimes you might want something in there, but sometimes it's just not meant to be in there. Like the painting saying, no. It's like, no, sorry, that's not going to go in there. It's going to bug you to death. So this is that ivory pencil. It is, I don't know if I've called it out, it's a 105. I'm just lightly putting that in here. So I'll play with that in between the bird. But I think what you guys can see is that it's definitely, you know, really fun. You can do a lot of, you know, you have a lot of freedom to play, and that feels really good. And I just feel like this technique is really fun to explore because it feels good. So people go, well, how do you know when you're done? I just start slowing down, and then that kind of tells me that I'm finished, you know, like, thank you guys for the hearts. I see those out of the corner of my eyes. I really appreciate them. Okay. The ghost stole the pencil. Oh, I love that. Well, thank you, Jonas. I really appreciate that. Hiroshima, wow. Well, thank you, Ari. I think that's a compliment. I don't know. Okay, you guys. Well, we're a little past time, but I think we really brought this to a good place. I guess oh, I just saw something that's bugging me. So I guess the biggest thing is, you know, what I got to show the before and after, so don't leave yet. The biggest thing I really want you guys to walk away from is really being able to see how building layers can be really powerful, and that they're more powerful than you know think, because a lot of times when we're doing our own work, you're not taking pictures of it. And I really strongly suggest taking pictures. And I think that can be a really powerful tool. I really... So you can see how I can't stop. So I'm going to show you the before and after. And you can see how much layering we've done today. And the spot's really bothering me right now. So I'm going to just take a moment and add a layer onto it, make myself feel better. All right, here we go. So this is where we started today. Right here. And, you know, I think she looked pretty good, but I want you guys to really focus on the hair and some of the things and just really see how much, you know, bringing those layers in. Here, I can put her up here. That camera's not as good, but you can see the chunkiness and how I've brought her all together and abstract her out and brought the light right here. The bird, I'll bring the, you can look at the bird and see how much the changes in the bird and the neck. And then the outfit, you can see the outfit and just the light and how much the line work and the pencils. I'm pretty excited about her. I'm loving her. I'm calling her the Muse of Creativity. I feel like I softened her look a little bit. Like, look at her mouth, and you can see her mouth's a little bit softer. You know, it wasn't a huge change, but sometimes those little subtle, I'm putting her up in the palette window. Sometimes you can just like do, you know, those really created a lot of frown right here. The shadow work created the downturn on the face. And just playing with that just a little bit can really make the face, you know, soften a little bit. So I don't think she looks like she's as frustrated with the bird being on her finger as she was prior. So I hope you guys enjoyed the journey that I took you on. And I really love these before and afters. I hope they give you the visual of how powerful layering can be. And you know, it really shows that if you don't have stick pastels and you don't want to go into the stick pastels, how you can use PanPastel as your underpainting, and that really saves you from using too much pastels, you know, the sticks. So a lot of stick pastels will use PanPastels in underpainting so they don't have to use as many of their precious sticks. That's the same with the pastel pencils. You can use PanPastel as your underpainting and not really finish it as much with the PanPastel, and use your pastel pencils and get this kind of really fun, loose look. And you can push it farther and you can make it tighter that you want. You got to find out what speaks to you. So let me see here. Thank you, Michelle, for the cheering. I really appreciate that. Hello, Darlene. I don't think I saw you in here. Thank you for stopping by. Oh, Stacy took off. Take care, Stacy. Thank you, Michelle. Thanks, Dawn. I love, love, love her. I can't wait to give this one a go. Thanks for the figurative this week. I know you were the one that wanted a figurative. I put that out there. Awesome, Jonas. You guys take care. Yes, does not look like a sourpuss. I know, she did kind of look like that. Have a good weekend. Are you going to be live next Tuesday, Election Day? I am going to be live that day. I will be live next Tuesday. Next month I'm taking off Thanksgiving week. So I'll be live all the other weeks. She always looks great in the before, but it's cool to see the refinement. Well, thank you, Lynn. Thank you, Francine. I'm so glad you made it today. Thank you, Jonas. Jennifer, you're welcome. I really was glad that you came today. Thank you, Janelle. All right, I think I got everybody. All right, you guys. Michelle, thank you so much for cheering everyone on. And I'm just so glad you guys were here today. So I hope you enjoyed the journey. And I don't know what we're going to do next week, but I look forward to it. And I will see you then. So take care. Bye-bye.